All right, so I'm here at the login window.
Hello, amazing teachers. We are back again. Yes, you're amazing, wonderful, awesome PSs. We're here to do a video for you about how to use Docusign. Thank goodness we are using something that is simple yet effective and getting our parent signatures and the signatures of everyone else on the team in one fell swoop without having to do a bunch of emails and reminders. So Docusign is a new feature that we are going to be adding, and you're going to get an email that gives you a link to start your putting your credentials in so that you can also have your own Docusign. For right now, we just are piloting it with those of us here at the district office. And so this week or next week, you should be getting that information so that you can create your Docusign email, password information, and start sending your documents out to your parents as well. So we are going to show you how to use it. It is very simple again, so I want to remind you that throughout this process that it is very simple. But if you have questions, please know you can call us, you can email us, and we are happy to answer those questions. There's also lots of help tutorials and videos online, but we're right here, so if you want to call us, please do so. When you get ready to start, you are going to go to docusign.com, and there will be a big website page that doesn't look like this one, but at the very top in the right corner, you will click log in, and it'll bring you to this screen. So Sophie is going to enter her credentials, of course, your email address, which will be your TUSD email, and then whatever password you create after you click continue, you will enter here. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a second to get your, go to the next screen. There we go. And you'll enter your password. And this window, after it loads, will pop up, and it will be your first foray into how to get documents for parents to sign here. Okay, so you will see this screen pop up, and as you see, Sophie has 15 completed documents that she has sent, and as you get more, you'll have more pop up there. And then these other little zeros that you see here, those will fill in as things start happening with whatever documents you send out. So don't worry about that for right now. Those will say 0 until you have something that you've sent out. The first thing you're going to do, as you see that Sophie is circling there with her mouse, is create your signature. If you've ever used Docusign before, you may already have a signature that you like that's in there. It will not appear here because you have a new login, right? So again, if you've used Docusign before and you're familiar with it, you will still have to do this step because that signature is saved on whatever account you've created for Docusign with a different email address. There's lots of different choices here that you can use, but of course, you are welcome to not use any of those and draw one freehand, which I'm totally not good at, or you can upload a signature that you already have saved if you have one that you think is all fancy that you'd like to use. We, of course, and ours just chose one of the ones that they had because that was simple and easy, and you click create, and it will save that for you. So every time you're signing a document, this is the signature that will appear for you. Okay, so let's get into the process of how you get documents into Docusign and then get those to participants in the IEP meeting for them to be able to sign as well. If you want to click start, you can see that there's a bunch of different choices down there that you can use. And of course, you're not signing a document. You can click send an envelope. I know that seems odd because I wouldn't have expected it to say that. But if you click that, it will open a screen that is an envelope. It is thinking you're basically sending somebody a letter, right? Some set of documents in an envelope that you want them to sign. I think it's a cute way, but it's also a little bit confusing. Only confusing thing about Docusign. And you will click upload right here. Now, just as an aside, on that first screen, you also have the option to just drag a document in, and we will show you that as well. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. So when you click this, you will click whatever document you want to upload, and you'll see that Sophie has looked at her documents and she selected something, and so she's uploaded it right there, and you can see just a little preview of what that document will look like. right there so you can make sure you've uploaded the right thing.
So I'm uploading an amendment for Special Eddie, our fake student in SACE. All right. So this is where we start to assign people to sign the documents. So we're going to pretend today, for the sake of this video, I'm going to be sending this document to Melissa and Laura. So I'm going to enter their names in. Okay.
And so you see Sophie has sent me a document before, so I actually already automatically appeared. And the more you send documents to the same people, their names will also appear. So you'll only probably have to type part of their name, and their name and email address will come up. But for your parents, of course, if you haven't sent them anything, you will need to type in their name as well as their email address.
And if you look here to the right, there are these two options: needs to sign and customize. There is the option for people to just receive a copy of the document as well. For most of our IEP meetings, everyone needs to sign the document, right? But there are some cases where, say, if you're including parent rights along with this document, you just want to send them the parent rights, and you can include it in here, but they don't need to sign. They can just get a copy of it. So what I'll do is, now that I have Melissa, I'm also going to add Laura. Okay.
And also notice that above the adding of participants or recipients to the envelope, there is a little checkbox that says set signing order, where you can put who do you want to sign first, second, third, to get that document.
Okay.
And just remember that that's an option. You don't have to select it, but it definitely is there if you have a particular order that you want things to be signed in.
All right, so I have my two people who I want to sign this amendment. So now I'm going to go ahead and click next.
And just in case you missed that, that was off. I know it's kind of hard to see sometimes since we're doing this via Teams. That was off to the right corner. On your screen, obviously this screen would be much larger. It would be your entire computer screen, and you wouldn't be seeing our Teams information on the screen with it. So just know that those buttons are always off to the right bottom part of your screen.
Okay. So in this portion of the signing of documents, each person is assigned a color. Okay. So Melissa is assigned this baby blue color. So what I'll go ahead and do is we're just going to pretend Melissa's going to be the parent for signing this document. So what I will do is I'll go ahead and insert a checkbox here. Okay. Can you all see that okay, Melissa and Laura?
We can.
Okay.
And so we want to remind you that when you're adding these checkboxes, that you want to add checkboxes to everything, not just to the I agree, because if parent doesn't agree, you want to make sure that they have the option to check that as well. So if you only put it on one thing, that's the only thing that they can check. It will not, and I repeat, it will not make them check all of the things that you have given checkboxes to. It just gives them the option to be able to select to check something. And if you don't select that box, they will not be able to check anything, and you will have to send the document to them again, because remember, we need the signature, but we also need the check in the checkbox that's appropriate.
Okay. All right. So the next step is I'm going to go ahead and click on this signature icon here, and you can drag that over right to the signature line and drop it right there above that line. Okay. The other box that you can drag over is the date signed icon. And what this will do is once the parent on their end click this box, it will automatically date for them. They don't have to type anything in, okay? What I'll also do on this line as well is to go ahead and put a checkbox here, since Melissa is going to be our parent for this amendment.
And then the
Okay.
final thing is you want to drag the text, which appears right above the checkbox portion. You want to drag that over to where it says with the exception of. So in case they do want to make an exception to the IEP, they have an opportunity to type something in there, because we want to make sure that if they have something, they can say something. But if they don't have to say anything.
Okay, please ignore my phone ringing. I can't do anything right now about it. Okay, so the next thing that I will do now that we have all the required fields for parent, I'm going to go back to the top left-hand corner here and choose Laura's name, and she's assigned yellow. And I will make her the LEA rep. Okay. So drag over the signature icon to that line and do the same thing for the date icon.
One thing I've learned about the date icon is if you held the meeting on a certain day and the parent consents on a different day, I drag over the text box to the date for participants so that you can write in the date that you attended the IEP, where that date could be different from the consent.
So if you wanted to do that, you do have the option of deleting that box. So it's just a right click on your mouse there and you can delete that. And then you can drag over the text box. All right. And then the other thing that I forgot to do was the parent should also sign in the attendance on the attendance line, right? So you can always go back to the top left-hand corner of the screen and go back. I'm going to go back to Melissa's now so that she can go ahead and sign on the attendance line as well. I'll go ahead and use the text box feature this time. Okay.
So I want to point out something on the right side of the screen. If you guys see that, so if you just drag that text box over there, and on the right side of the screen, there is lots of different options that you can choose. You can feel free to play around with those. We've been playing around with it in an effort to kind of learn a little bit of Docusign before we showed you. But one of the features that I wanted to point out over here is the checkbox that appears in front of required field. It will make them write or do something when they get the document on their end. If you checked that box, or if that box is checked, and it usually appears checked for most of the fields here. So just so you are aware, it will not let them continue in the document until they do something on their end when they get the Docusign email to them.
All right. Okay, so once I have all the fields inserted into this signature page, I'll go ahead and click send, and it should be on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And just one other thing, don't forget, guys, is these other boxes at the bottom for the Medi-Cal authorization, and also with parents receiving a copy of the amendment page, we can also add the checkbox there as well.
I should mention, because we assumed this, but just in case people were not sure and weren't clear, when you click on one of these and we say drag it over to the section that you want it to appear in, we mean you click it and you hold on your mouse and then you move it over. Okay, if you just click it and then you click on the screen, you won't see anything. So make sure you're clicking and holding to drag it over.
All right, so now I will go ahead and click send.
And so once you
Okay.
click send, you will see this screen pop up.
So, and this is just a list of all the documents that I've been working on. So Melissa and Laura should be receiving an email to notify them to sign that they have documents that they need to view and sign.
And we're going to go to our emails right now.
And for me as the sender, anytime the recipients opens up that document, views it and signs it, I also get a notification on my end. Then you also get a notification, I believe, once everyone signs the document. And if you look here in my inbox, this is under the Manage tab, it'll give you the status of the documents that you've been waiting or working on.
So right now I've opened the email and I have my places to sign. And again, you can try this out. You can send yourself a document if you want to see what it looks like when the parent receives everything. And once I've clicked through here, it will send an email or notification back to Sophie to let her know that I have signed this and it's good to go on my end. So I'm just filling in all my boxes as the parent.
And if you look at the screen currently, you can see that I've already signed and it has been sent back to Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
And I just signed and I sent it back as well.
Okay. And sometimes it doesn't show up right away. And if it doesn't show up right away, you can always refresh your page. I'm going to go back to the home page real quick and come back to manage. And you can click on the document. Yeah, so I still have not received that notification. It takes a little bit of time sometimes. Although Laura, yours was pretty fast.
I had a couple more sections to sign.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
it took me a long
yes.
time, guys.
No,
But
you're okay.
I want you to know, you guys, that on the recipient's end, so when I got the email from Sophie and I signed, it also sent me back a response that says, your document has been completed, that I've signed. So I know that I've signed. We're just waiting for it to appear on Sophie's end. But there isn't anything that I would need to still do on my end as the parent that got it, because it's let me know that I filled out all of my parts.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go back into the email, I can see my signature and I can see Laura's signature as well. So I know that she's also signed. So it makes it really nice to know that that's in there.
Mm-hmm. And in some cases, when there's any members of the team who's not signed the document and you've waited a few days now, you always have the option, if you go back to your inbox under manage and you have your list of documents that you've sent out, you can also resend them that document. So it's right here in this column. Okay, so you can always resend it. Okay, so let me go back to that document. And I am going to just open it here on the right-hand side just to kind of see what's happening there, because they didn't give me a check mark next to Melissa's name, but Melissa did it, see?
Mm-hmm. I put the wrong date. I feel like it should be 2012. That was a good, wasn't it, Ethan? I think it was.
Oh, no worries. So there you go, guys. This is your signed amendment page.
And so I want to just point out here, you guys will notice that I wrote in here no exceptions. And the reason that I wrote that is because on my end as the parent, because we had marked that box was a required box, I had to type into it. And so I just want to make sure that you guys are aware. That's why I wanted to point that out, that when you have that check mark over there, that it's a required box, it would not let me continue in the document as a signer until I wrote something there and it had the box in red. So I knew there was something that was wrong. I had to stop and write something there. So just know that if you don't uncheck that box, it will make the parent write something, whether it's like I wrote no exceptions because I agreed to all the parts, or if they have something that they wanted to say there, or see attached document. I know we've been getting a couple of parents that have quite lengthy exceptions with their advocates and lots of wonderful words for us. And so if they have something that's more than whatever is able to fit on that screen and that one line, they can definitely attach something and they can write that there in that box as well.
Okay. Yep. And then just something to note, you guys, is you can send parents or the other team members, if you wanted to, the entire IEP document, right? You would just have to scroll down to the signature page to enter those fields in to get their signatures. So it does not have to be a standalone signature page that you send over to them. It can be the entire IEP document.
And it may be good to send the entire document, because Docusign, after you've signed, gives the person who is the signator an opportunity to download the document. And so that is obviously a good way to get them the IEP document, but you can, of course, always email them the completed document or print it out with the signatures on it and have that ready for them in the office as well. But just know that once they've signed, if you've sent them the entire IEP, they can get a copy of it right then.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for watching our video. Again, if you, after watching this video, you still have questions, you can always reach out to us and we can kind of help you navigate Docusign. We are just learning it ourselves. There's still, I'm sure, a lot of other things that we haven't discovered yet, but I do think that just to get started, I feel like it is pretty simple. But anyway, reach out to us if you have any questions, okay?
And like we said, play around with it and send it to yourself so you can see what it looks like as the recipient if you've never received a Docusign email before. And send it to your friends, have them sign on a piece of paper if you'd like as well, just so that you know that you're comfortable and familiar with it. And again, like Sophie said, ask us, ask us, ask us. We're here to help.
And even if you don't have a question to ask, if you have a tip or a trick that can help the rest of us, please send it to us as well, and we will share it.
Thanks, you guys, for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.